Today at Commander Replay, we take our first look at Yarok the Desecrated. Is Sultai Panharmonicon as strong as we think? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have a new Patreon supporter in Douglas Whitaker. Doug, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Yarok the Desecrated today, and this is going to be a Sultai value deck. Basically, we've got Panharmonicon on our commander. Pretty ridiculous. We kept a hand that looks like this. We did take our free mulligan. We do have 2 lands, a Mana Vault, a Survival of the Fittest. And yeah, let's just lay down this tropical island. We'll play the Mana Vault, and then we'll pass. Would like to draw into another land at some point. So no action from our opponents that turn cycle. Just dropping some lands, and that'll bring it back to our turn 2. Mana Vault trigger, nothing doing there. Excellent, we draw a land. That'll put us on 5 mana. We could just go straight for Sidisi, but I don't actually know what we need. Well, that being the case, let's play the Underground Sea. Let's get the Survival of the Fittest in, and we'll pass like that. So we do have this Winggrace's Judgment in our hand. I'm very excited about this. I have not played a lot of green-black since this card has been released, which is kind of a while ago now. So I'm excited about the prospect of being able to use this card. This is a very nice piece of removal. Signet coming down for the Yarok opponent. And a Manolith coming down for our opponent. So we draw another land. Lands are good. Let's go ahead and play the Wooded Foothills, crack the Wooded Foothills. We'll grab a Bayou right here since it comes in untapped. I think it's a good time to just slam our commander right here. Maybe... yeah, let's just go for it. We'll use the Mana Vault. Oh, opponent's going to Pong a Fire Commander. That hurts. That hurts. Well played, opponent. Well played. So I am joined by 3 Patreon supporters today. First up, we have Useless Facts piloting Admiral Beckett Brass. One that you don't see that much. It's a deck that does tend to struggle a bit. Doesn't quite have the support that it needs. But it does say, other pirates get +1/+1 at the beginning of your end step. Gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who was dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. And, you know, being that I've played cards like Odric Master Tactician, and some of the battalion cards, it can actually be tough to attack with that many creatures in a turn. When you start laying down creatures like that, people tend to get nervous and start laying down board wipes. So, you know, it's not something that you can do all of the time. That is it's a pretty steep condition to meet, but if you can trigger it, that's a pretty good ability. Next up, I'm joined by Chaotix 2075, also piloting Yarok the Desecrated. We decided to double up on it. That way, if, you know, one of us has a bad showing, I still get a decent look at the deck from the other player. And they lay down an Azusa, cough out a bunch of lands, and then going for a Demonic Tutor. That all seems really good. They just ramped like crazy. I would love to get some ramp going. Mana Vault good for a short burst of mana, not good for sustained mana production. Opponent goes turn 3, opponent's on 6 lands now, so that is really, really good. And then finally we have Fate's Beast piloting the Locust God. Yeah, just Locust God, just a really strong commander. They play a Locust God, cast a wheel, get a bunch of tokens, attack a bunch of things, Goblin Bombardment stuff down. Lots of nasty things to be doing in the Locust God. Making creatures for free, pretty strong ability. So it brings it back to our turn. Mana Vault trigger, we're going to lose some life right here. And we draw a Sylvan Library. I'm actually liking that one. Let us play this forest. Our choices are Panharmonicon or Sylvan Library. We could discard a creature, but then we're still, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go with the library right here. And we're going to send a little oven over to Locust God since they blew up our commander. So, in for 3. Funny banter with our opponents. Deadeye Plunderers coming down for the Admiral Beckett Brass. Gets +1/+1 for each artifact they control, and it can create treasure tokens. It's not terrible, maybe a little overcosted at 5 mana, but it's a 6/6. 6/6 is pretty threatening, right? By the way, we should take a look at what our commander actually does, since it is new, as opponent casts their Yarok. But Yarok is 2 in Sultai for a 3/5 with Death Touch and Lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Essentially Panharmonicon, but less restrictive. Panharmonicon says if an artifact or a creaturing enter the battlefield causes, where Yarok says any permanent. Yarok, so having not played it yet, but just looking through the deck list, Yarok seems very strong. Oop, there's a Rex Sage. This is gonna hurt. Oh, please don't. Let's see. Opponent's gonna go after our Survival of the Fittest. Okay, they're leaving Sylvan Library. I can live with that. If they went for both, which they probably should do, that would just break our back. I thought about discarding something to survival, but I don't know. Diluvian Primordial is... Ooh. Diluvian Primordial is very, very strong, and opponents can play a Bojuka Bog and hit us with Bog. And then Field of the Dead also says, whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie. That one's going to trigger twice. Nasty. So opponents gotten going. Azusa sped them up a lot. They have 0 cards in hand, which means we might be thinking about a board wipe. They will get hit very, very hard by a board wipe. But anyway, finishing up on Yarok, so yeah, the Panharmonicon ability on a commander just seems insane to me. As we just saw, opponent got double Reclamation triggers, double Field of Dead triggers, and double Bojuka Bog triggers. And that may actually be strong enough for me to start running Bojuka Bog in the deck, because I don't typically like to run it. It never shows up when I need it. Either shows up on turn 1 or not at all, or when I really need an untapped land. So I've generally stopped running Bojuka Bog in many decks, especially Mono Black. I guess this is Sultai, so it's probably okay here. But, you know, in Mono Black, where the number of swamps you play matter, I really don't like to run it anymore. Opponents can play a Trinket Mage, get themselves an artifact. But yeah, there are a lot of really cool permanents that you can trigger. Some other things I saw were like Altar of the Brood. Polluted Bonds is really interesting, probably like stupidly strong. And there's a handful of other like enchantments like that that are really nasty that will be triggering left and right, especially if you got your commander down. There's a Slate of Ancestry for the Locust God. That one seems pretty good. That's going to bring it back to our turn. Mana Vault will trigger. We'll lose some life. So there's a land on top. That's good. We're going to get hit for some damage. Sylvan Library will trigger. Take a look with the Sylvan Library. 3 lands. 3 lands is probably too many lands. We'll put the Forest back on top and keep the Flooded Strand. Okay, let's see. We can go up to 5 mana. Sidisi is very reasonable. We could sit on Windgrace's Judgment. We could just cast Panharmonicon. I think we're just going for Sidisi. So let's play the Breeding Pool untapped. Gonna save the Flooded Strand just so that if we need to shuffle the top of our library at all, it'll be available to us after, because Sidisi will already shuffle our library. So Sidisi will come in. We'll sacrifice the Ape token. Probably could have attacked first, but oops. Find ourselves a board wipe. Damnation seems good. That way no life loss from the Toxic Deluge. And with that, we'll pass the turn. The one thing I did add into the deck is Thornbite Staff, which works really well with creatures with Death Touch, which our commander happens to have. Also works with Sidisi, and there's a Grave Titan in the deck as well. It's a trick that I kind of picked up for Tetzamach, is that you can build around the Death Touch ability, and it really doesn't even take that many cards to do it, like literally 1 in this case. It's just a nice little addition to have, in addition to all of your ETB shenanigans. Opponent says, I think he was contemplating whether or not to cast Sunforger. Yeah, no Sunforgers today. No white at the table today, so definitely no Sunforgers. And certainly not for us. And the opponent said, if anyone would find a way to skirt the rules and play Sunforger, it'd be me. Yes, it would. Love that card. That card has saved me too many times. Opponent going to get another double trigger off this Field of the Dead and many, many zombies. Almost wish I had a Fumigate in the deck, because we'd be gaining a lot of life if we did. Opponent going to send the Yarok over to the Locust God. I personally would have sent more than that, but that's just me. You have a bunch of tokens, and also I just tutored, so those tokens probably aren't long for this world. Trinket Mage down. Yep, opponent blocks. Opponent gains some life, goes back up to 43. I hope opponent casts a Locust God right here, because if we can get that swept away into this board wipe, that'll make me feel pretty good. And Mana Crypt flip on the Locust God. They win the flip, stay at 37. Excellent. Here comes the Locust God. Opponent could have Counterspell mana. They could have like a Negate or an Arcane Denial. That's going to bring it back to our turn. Another Mana Vault trigger. Going to be losing more life. Sylvan Library, Mana Vault trigger. We've got an, Animate Dead and Living Death. Yes, please. Plus a land. Yeah, we're just paying the life. Keep everything. We go down to 22. Ouch. Send the Sidisi over to the Locust God. No blocks. They go down to 33. Play the Flooded Strand. Play Damnation. So all the creatures getting blown up. And then finally, I think we'll Animate Dead on the Sidisi. And I really want to get myself an Oracle of Moldiah. Feel like we need some mana ramp. And Oracle is a great way to do so. So Sidisi will come in. It will exploit. We'll sacrifice it to itself. I guess we could also go, we're a ways away from Zendikar. You know what? 2 opponents have 0 cards in hand. I think we can actually go for Zendikar Resurgent. Yeah, let's just grab Zendikar Resurgent. And we'll pass like that. Locust God's the only one that I'm really kind of worried about at the moment. Opponent didn't select Locust God to graveyard, so it does go to the command zone. So that will tick up its cost to recast, which is helpful for us. Admiral Beckett coming into play. So opponent going to recast their commander. Yep. Yarok coming back to play. And opponent going to cast a Muldrifter. That's going to be Dose the Muldrifter. That's going to give him 4 cards. That's pretty good. So they're going to go from not having much to probably having some new options. Hopefully for us they draw 4 lands, but even then, those lands will turn into creatures with Field of the Dead. Mana Crypt flip for our opponent. Locust God back to play. Yep, opponent taps out to do that. Cool. And next turn, man, if they have a wheel, even the Slate of Ancestry. Slate of Ancestry could lead to problems. It's all not great. Piece of spot removal would not be the worst thing imaginable. Guess we have the Winggrace's Judgment, but really need to get Zendikar Resurgent down also. Duplicant is a card. Put the Swamp back on top. We have exactly enough. We'll put the Lotus Cobra back on top. We can't really afford to draw any more cards with Sylvan Library. So, when you get the Zendikar Resurgent down, pass like that and hope for the best. Opponent says, what would a drunken sailor do? What would a drunken sailor do? Teach them proper diet and hygiene habits. That's exactly what sailors are known for. Opponent going to swing their Admiral Beckett into the Yarok opponent. Here comes an Obnixilis the Fallen. Ooh, that's got direct damage on it. That's not great for us. Hopefully they don't point it at us. Alright, they play a land, 2 Field of the Dead triggers, 2 Obnixilis triggers, 1 trigger at us. Second trigger at the Locust God, okay. Still though, our life total is getting low. That is not good. We do have Noxious Gearhulk in the deck. That would actually be a really good one to grab. That life gain would be huge. Opponent's going to Putrefy in the Locust God. That seems like a very good idea. Excellent. Obnixilis up to a 9/9. That's pretty scary. Fate says he's trying not to rage quit. Opponent going to send Yarok into the Locust God. Oh, yep, they sent the Locust God back to the command zone again. Mana Crypt flip for the Locust God. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Vault's going to trigger on us. Not paying. Sylvan Library will trigger. We've got Lotus Cobra and 2 lands. Let's see. Put the Underground River back on top. I guess put the Swamp back on top also. Let's recast our commander. We'll get to draw a card with the Zendikar Resurgent. Yep. Play the Lotus Cobra. Zendikar Resurgent will trigger. Draw the Underground River. Play a Swamp. Oh, we can get a lot of mana. Lotus Cobra is going to trigger twice. Let's get blue. Let's get black. Play the Panharmonicon. Crack this fetch. We'll just get an island. That'll give us 2 Lotus Cobra triggers. What are we casting? Could cast the Winggrace's Judgment. Yeah, I think we do that. Really don't want opponent to untap with the Obnixilis. So we'll get Admiral Beckett, the Obnixilis, and the Slate of Ancestry. Ooh, opponent's got Narset's Reversal. Copy target instant or sorcerer. Uh-oh. Ouch. Zendikar Resurgent going? Yeah, probably going to be Zendikar Resurgent. So Winggrace's Judgment now targeting our Panharmonicon, Dimir Signet, and still the Obnixilis. Well, we're still getting rid of the Obnixilis. Panharmonicon's going to hurt a bit, but our commander's still sticking around, so won't be able to go crazy with the double triggers right there. They did not blow up the Zendikar Resurgent. That's actually probably the stronger card right now for us. Doubling up our mana, going to give us a bunch of card draw. All seems like good stuff. We're at 16, though. If opponents do, like, anything explosive, we're going to be in some trouble. Hostage Taker coming into play. This can't be good. Exile another target creature or artifact until it leaves the battlefield. You may cast... opponent's going to High Tide? What? Oh, maybe they've got, like, a... I have no idea what they have. Opponent's going to go for our Yarok. Okay. Goes back to the command zone. We'll eat up a significant amount of mana trying to recast that. Opponent's going to crack their Commander Sphere and draw a card. There's an Avenger of Zendikar. Ugh. Gonna get double the plant tokens. Okay. We may have to do some things. Hope they don't have a land. Oh, that's a Time Twister. You know, that's probably okay, honestly. The stuff in our hand has been, like, tough to use. Not quite right for the situation that we're in right now. It's probably getting close on the Diluvian Primordial, but Mnemonic Wall not super helpful. Eternal Witness not super helpful. That one will get us some card draw. Can blow up an artifact. We probably have less tools than we did before. Command Beacon could be okay. Ooh, opponent plays a land. They're going to get all the tokens, all the Avenger triggers. Alright, opponent is ahead. Opponent sending a couple tokens our way and Yarok into the Locust God. Our life total will continue to get even lower. And the plants are all 2/3s, which means we are into definite board wipe territory. Hope the Locust God drew like a Blasphemous Act. We go down to 12. And we have only Demonic Tutor and Sidisi as tutors in the deck. It's not the best. Frantic Search for the Locust God. Locust God's going to Brainstorm, sure. It's going to get back to the Locust God's turn. Chaotix has an interesting desert theme going on with his Yarok deck. I chose to go for a bit more consistency in the mana colors. Oh, that's a Paradox Engine? Really? Are we dead? That Slate of Ancestry stuck around. Might be dead. Lightning Greaves, yep. Paradox Engine will trigger. Winds of Change, awesome. Need opponent to hit mostly lands, and especially not more mana rocks. We've got a Necromancy. Somehow the Manglehorn came back. We have Sidisi, we've got one of our tutors, we just need to survive. Got a fetch land that can give us some extra mana. Basalt Monolith, that's bad. Opponent's down to 3 cards, though. Opponent's gonna Fabricate, that's not good. Opponent gets an Altar of the Brood. Here comes Altar of the Brood. Here comes the Locust God, opponent untaps again. Down to 2 cards. That might be our one hope, that they just run out of stuff. Altar of the Brood will trigger. That'll mill us a little. Not the worst thing with Necromancy in our hand. Well, there's the Damnation that we needed, so that's super frustrating. That is the worst thing, because now I think we probably have to use Toxic Deluge. Let's see what other board wipes are in the deck. Massacre Worm's in the deck. That can just kill some people. I took Cyclonic Rift out just because it's, it's a little OP. Felt like it was adding insult to injury. So it looks like Massacre Worm is our main plan here. Potentially, or Demon of Dark Schemes could be the same thing. Paradoxical Outcome, cool. And he's gonna Narset's Reversal that. Now opponent can probably just play their deck. So yeah, this deck, we got hit super hard by that Pongify in the early game that literally just set us off course for the rest of the game. Which I think means probably just we needed more like a Cultivate, more sustained ramp. We had the Mana Vault, which is good for speed, but it doesn't increase your overall mana production significantly throughout the game. Zendikar Resurgent helped, but I think we actually only had the one turn. And then we got Paradox Engined, and I told opponents to bring strong decks. I didn't mean Paradox Engine strong. Once you start getting into Paradox Engine style decks, you have to change your deck building significantly. You need a ton of instant speed artifact removal to make sure that people can't get going with the Paradox Engine. But as far as our deck, so we do have Lightning Greaves. I might even add in some Swiftfoot Boots. Keeping our commander alive seems very, very important. That was the thing we were not able to do in this game. I think it died twice on us, and that was super problematic. I probably need to bring the curve down just a teeny bit. 9/5 drops is on the high side, and I was definitely starting to feel that clunkiness, especially without a Cultivate. So that's something to think about as well. The 6 drops are all really powerful, so I don't really want to cut any of those, but 5, our commander's also 5, so having a bunch of 5 drops is probably not the best idea. So probably need to rework the curve just a little bit. And I don't know, I do have a feeling that this is going to be one of those commanders that just eats removal, probably out of necessity, sort of like Muldrotha. If you don't blow up Muldrotha, then they just go wild. If you do, they probably don't do very much, and I mean, not that this deck will be useless without its commander, but you really plan on getting double triggers off of everything, and if you're not, you're probably not generating the type of value that you really need to be successful in the game. So yeah, I think we were actually kind of a victim of the Mana Vault, and because we got out there so fast with our commander, ours got blown up first, and it really kind of threw us off kilter for a good part of the game. And then we got Locust Godded. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.